Hello and welcome. This is the sixth video in this series. In the last video, we've introduced the modifier in Solidity. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Twitter modifier exercise. Now, number one here says add a function called change tweet length to change max tweet length. And it says use new tweet length as input for the function. So let's create the function somewhere around, let's say here, function, space this, and then let's make it public. Good. Now it says here, use new tweet length as input for the function. So let's make it uint, that is uint26, new tweet length. But if we try to change, let me show you. If we try to change the max new tweet length, and assign it the value of new tweet length, is going to give us an error. Let's try this. Max tweet length equal to new tweet length. When you hover it, you can see it says cannot assign to a constant variable, because this variable is constant. Max tweet length is a constant variable, and we cannot change constant variables. We cannot change the values of constant variables once they are assigned. Now, so we need to delete this keyword. And if you don't know what constant variables are, what immutable variables are, you can click on the video on the top right here, and we have gone in depth on what are constant variables and what are immutable variables. So I hope you watch that video if you don't know what they are. Now let's get back to it. So we have deleted the keyword, the constant keyword, and but you can see we still have some errors, and that is because you can see what it's saying here. And that is because max tweet length is a uint16, while new tweet length is a uint236. So we need to change this to uint16 as well. Perfect. Now we are done with this. Number two says create a constructor function to set an owner of contract. Let's create a constructor function here. Constructor this. Perfect. A constructor function is basically a function that runs once and once only. It runs at the time of deployment. So as soon as you deploy the contract, it runs and it will never run ever again. So let's create the variable owner and then assign it a value here. But it's a very good practice. It's almost like it's the convention, and it's almost compulsory that you make the owner variable an immutable, and that is because it will never change later on in the code. Let's change let's set the value msg.sender. Now what does this do? Setting a variable as an immutable means it will not be changed. It cannot be changed anywhere on the code except and only inside the constructor. In only two places. You can check the video I recommended, and it went in depth about what immutable variables are. But here we are saying let's assign the owner variable to the value of the address of the person that deploys the contract. So whichever address deploys this contract, we are setting the value of owner to that address. Perfect. Now number three says create a modifier called onlyOwner. Now let's do it here. Let's say modifier onlyOwner. Let's do this. Modifier does not contain body. Okay, we have created the modifier. Now what does it do? Now the onlyOwner modifier, let's write the body of the function of the modifier. Let's say require msg.sender is equal to owner. And if not, say you are not the owner. and then this. It's the last thing says use onlyOwner on change tweet length function. Now where's the change tweet length function? Right here. We should use this modifier on it. Now what happens here? What happens here is when we call the onlyOwner modifier here in change tweet length, whenever the change tweet length function is called, it will go on and call this modifier and run whatever is inside the modifier, onlyOwner modifier. So when we call change tweet length, it will go in here and execute these lines. So it will first check the first line, require, that is, it will check if the person that is calling the function, the address that is calling the function is the same address as the owner variable. And if not, it will throw an error with a message, you are not the owner. The next line here says, now we're done with this modifier. You can go on and run subsequent lines of code. So as soon as it hits this underscore, it will go on and then actually call on this function. But that will only happen if this succeeds. If a person who is not the owner, calls the function, it will throw an error and say you are not the owner, and then it will just revert. But if the owner calls the function to check this, if it is the owner, then it will come onto this underscore and then go on and run what is actually inside the change tweet length function.